Hello guys, TKG is here for your comfortable LostArk life. Today, I'm going to cover the recent KL region and community status. In fact, it's been a while since I've covered KL community and regional news since the recent live stream. So I will briefly cover these matters and issues in this video today. As many people might expect, the current situation of the KL community, or specifically LostArk KL, is far from optimistic. Consequently, critical opinion from the significant number of players have become mainstream within the community. At the same time, players were disappointed by the LostArk team's delayed responses and leaving the game rapidly, leading the state of both the game and community to worsen further. One of the major reasons for the accelerated decline of users, honestly, I never thought I would say this while playing the game, but it seems that the in-game community is significantly impacting the situation in a negative way. Honestly, I had some hope when the director stated we will fix the economy, but it has already been about 3 weeks or even a month since the statement was made, and no tangible changes have been seen. Moreover, immediate measures are clearly needed, but there has still been no responses. Whether the team doesn't know where to start or they are intentionally delaying, the lack of any countermeasure is further accelerating the decline of users. In essence, it can be seen as an utter crisis. In the past, there were moments when the developer promptly provided feedback and responded to users' demand with action accompanying their words. However, when reflecting on those times, things now seem completely different. To be honest, it makes me wonder if they plan to drag all these issues until this long summer event. And shockingly, seeing that no significant patches have been made until now, it feels like that might actually be the case. Alternatively, it raises the question of whether they have already lost the ability to respond effectively. Additionally, LostArk still has not resolved its structural issues unique to the game. Although the ambition of Season 3, which promised free setting and builds, were announced, the reality is that players are still being guided into restrictive setups due to the expensive content price and structural problems. Roster share builds, in reality, are only roster share in name, as the actual situation varies widely. For example, engraving setups depends on the attribute of the characters. If you choose a Hitmaster characters and you want to create a more cost-effective new alt, it's better to select a character or class with similar traits. However, for classes with back attack attributes, head attack attributes, specialization critical builds, or specialization swift builds, the engraving used rarely overlap, meaning players often had to start their builds from the bottom each time. Of course, these structural problems are not limited to engravings alone. To be honest, one of the biggest complaints I had when Season 3 began was the bracelet system. The existing Tier 3 bracelet essentially became obsolete with the introduction of Season 3, leading to what can be described as a hard reset. Players who invested from tens of thousands to millions to in-game currency to complete their bracelet in the previous season now face the reality of their efforts being reduced to worthless scraps. Moreover, the bracelet system exacerbates the issues of restricted setups. Reconfiguring bracelets requires significant financial investment while still relying on random elements, further burdening players. On top of this, Bayon currency is consumed during the process, which add to the overall cost. Asking players to make additional investment after they've already spent a considerable amount feels excessively demanding, particularly if players need to adjust their bracelet for a new character or engraving build. They are forced to go through the same costly process again. These repeated expenses are undoubtedly unreasonable demands for users. Furthermore, LostArk content tends to be overly repetitive, heavily reliant on party playing, and offers rewards that lacks distinctiveness. In essence, the game's economy depends on constantly pushing players into this monotonous grind. However, with users increasingly leaving the game, the already broken economy seems to be plummeting even further. Still, to be honest, many players continue to hold onto the game due to the sunk cost they had already invested and the hope fueled by the recent live streams. There was a lingering belief that the game would eventually get back on tracks. However, as even those hopes have started to vanish, dissatisfaction among users has grown, leading to increasing number of players leaving. Recent adjustments regarding gems has further worsened the situation. Instead of addressing the concern effectively, these updates are perceived as betrayals, particularly for players who have been loyal to the game. It goes without saying that such changes diminish trust in the game's policy and team. The direction of updates, which seems to erode the affection that players have developed for LostArk, has made the atmospheres within the current community and in-game environment feel even gloomier. To be honest, it feels as though even the last piece of hope has been extinguished, leaving a rather discouraging future. Even players who were willing to wait until the Kazero's LostArk update now seems to be losing patience, worn down by the unreasonably slow responses and misguided policy of the game developers. This frustration may be explained by the increasing number of memes in various community, reflecting the collective discontent. Honestly, if someone were considering starting LostArk now, I would advise against it. While the game boasts impressive appearance, its overall structure is highly unfair and expensive. Moreover, unlike the past, the response time to issue has become significantly slower. It might be better to wait and see what information, updates, and timeline are revealed during the upcoming launch summer event before diving into the game. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. And always, thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your LostArk journey. And of course, if you like my videos, hit the sub for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.